Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Advisor Group is here to help. Jason Thornton, certified financial planner, specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your consultation with Thornton Advisor Group to get a financial plan, budgeting, savings, debt management, tax planning, investing, and retirement, even IRS debt settlements. Stop trying to run the play. Get the advice you need to live your best life from a certified financial planner. Book your consultation appointment today. Go to www.thorntonadvisor.com.
I would not endorse anything I didn't use myself. I've been working with the firm for the last couple of years and they have exceeded my expectation. So a special gift for you right now, a free consultation. If you go down to the top line of the description box, free consultation. You can't beat it. Free. Links at the top line of the description. Tell them Oga sent you.
Yeah.
In the news, man, we see this whole situation, being a former litigator, judge with Diddy. What's your thoughts on that whole? I know it's a lot to unravel with that. It's been a lot of speculation, civil suits. Then his house was raided a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you've been following him. What's your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I find it interesting. First thing, who raided him?
The Homeland Security? Yeah.
What's Homeland Security got to do jurisdictionally with what they claim to have raided him for? Homeland Security deals with international terror and domestic terrorism.
Right.
Natural and man-made disasters that come out of stuff like there was a storm, tornado, hurricane, or somebody took down the Twin Towers. It deals with customs, immigration, and border security.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell does that have to do with sex trafficking? Then there's another thing. Did anybody pay attention to what they raided or served a search warrant on? They served a search warrant on one of his mansions on the West Coast, right?
Yes, sir.
They served one on his Florida mansion, right?
Correct.
Why didn't they serve a search warrant on his second mansion on the same lot in Florida? Why search just one of them?
I didn't know he had another. Wow.
Yeah, he did. So they walk out of there with a moderate-sized cardboard box, not a big one, and a moderate-sized trash bag, not a big one. So what is it they seize that can fit in that?
Electronics, computers, tablets,
Hard drives.
No, I wouldn't say hard drives. Might be some video recording devices, some thumb drives, such like.
Right.
And they talk to him at the airport and let him get on a plane and go to some place that does not have an extradition treaty. What are they after? And by the way, the FBI was there. They have the jurisdiction. They started off dealing with interstate trafficking of women because they were trying to get Jack Johnson. That's how the FBI got started before World War I, to come up with what is now known as the Mann Act, which they most recently got R. Kelly under. So that's their bailiwick. That's why the FBI started, was to get black men caught up in trafficking white women across state lines. Wow. Now, why did the FBI pull off that search warrant? And by the way, they still haven't come up with anything out of it. So you seize stuff, what are you just doing, sitting on it?
Right.
Now, think about it. You've seen the list of some of the people that are supposed to have been there. Did they just go in there and use that as a pretext to seize, say, very condemning information on somebody so one of their guys doesn't have to go through what Trump is going through?
Let's go to work. All right, so you know where I wanted to get started. We seen the women's NCAA final a couple of weeks ago, and then we just recently.
You saw it. I didn't.
I didn't see it either. The world saw it. How about we just put it that way? the world saw. Because I didn't watch it either in particular, but the WNBA draft also happened, and a lot of Angel Reese and a lot of different basketball players are coming out doing different things. And one, Jason Whitlock, who I don't often agree with, but he said something that I did agree with, and he said that some of these NBA basketball players are now bringing. It's cool now to be a woman again in the WNBA. It's now cool to be feminine again in the WNBA. And that made me think we often talk about masculinity being attacked. And I 100% believe it is being attacked out here. Is femininity being attacked right now as well? Do you think that people are shunning women from being women just as equally as they're shunning men from being men in our culture right now?
55 years ago, 56 years ago, there was a trend that started. Those that hated that there weren't men, the feminists, those that hated men, certain lesbians, those that hated they weren't strong men, the beta boys, those that hated they weren't normal men, the gay boys, and the ones that hated men because they started war. Yeah, man, we got to drop out, man. Yeah, we got to change the way, man. It's like toxic, man. We got to learn love, man, and stop war. Anyway, all that bullshit went on, and they wound up having a situation where color TV was kicking the movie industry in the behind. So they came up with a new format. Instead of every Thursday and Sunday, you had 2 new movies, which cost a lot of production time and money during a year. And no matter how well they did, they got changed every Thursday and Sunday. They decided that they were going to have one movie. There was a group that was untapped monetarily, and that was the Black community. So instead of trying to uplift them, they would appeal to the lowest common denominator, the pimp, hoe, drug dealer, gangster, thug, murderer, rapist, whatever. In other words, lack of fitness, lack of manliness, and that was a good way to attack manhood, since the typical white guy about the 60s was coming to ideate, being cool with being black. So if you made being black lame and sissified, then you got your objective to sissify the whole population. And since black music and dancing style and dress style was spreading around the Western world, that was a good way of doing stuff. So, yeah, you got this, but it led to the destruction of the family, and it coincided with the Johnson administration coming up with a safety net, which was supposed to provide assistance to women who had babies that found themselves in a bad situation, and that got morphed by enterprising little hustlers into having babies to get supported rather than having an emergency support for the babies. So it wasn't long before you had 3, 4, 5, 6 generations of a family where nobody had finished school or had a job, because all they had to do was flat back gap, get knocked up, and collect a check. And that has contributed to our culture. And I want to say something about what you're getting. You can tell because the music is stagnated. How long has hip hop been in popular demand? About 45 years?
Absolutely.
If you go back and examine the music trends for the last 200 years in the Western world, music stays in vogue for about 10 years before it changes. That included black music. So why is it stagnated for 45 years? See, you got the dynamic of the drive being knocked out. The lyrics have slightly changed, but the sampled music's 45, 50 years old. You play elevator music that's 50 years old, 60 years old, nobody gets offended, even the young folk. You go and you have a party. I went to a club here in Memphis called a Rocking Chair. Sophisticated ladies gave it. They're middle-aged women. They tended to be a bit overweight, and their shorts were too tight. But the 55, 60-year-old women were doing the exact same dances that their 15-year-old granddaughters were. So what is that? You know, this isn't, is hip hop become folk dancing now? Or what is it? And it's funny when you start seeing young folk deal with old classical folk dancing that, you know, that's that kind of thing where some culture gets together and the young folks show the old folk that they can do the old folks dance. Now it's everybody from 15 to 75 is doing the same dance to the same music. And everybody's heard the same music, if you call it music and not poetry set to music. So why are we stagnated? Why have we allowed the national entertainment industry to dictate that there are going to be no changes in the music? So the young Japanese kids that are seeking what appears to be manhood can do their techno bounce up and down stuff out of tune to the music, but to the same lyrics, to the same hip hop that you have on gangster rap video here in the US, which is the same as they're dealing with a translation under it over in Rome, Paris, Moscow, Pretoria, Sydney, Australia, someplace, or down in Rio. So what's caused the stagnation of the music? You even basically the only place you're going to find any new black music is to an extent some variation on reggae, which tends to now morph more into going through soca into American hip hop. So they're losing that art form. So why have we become stagnant? Because we've got an essentially white structure that is paying the tab and calling the shots on what gets put out. We certainly have the opportunity to produce on our own. We produce the core product, but it doesn't seem to work. And I'll show you the travesty of it. What person has sold more CDs in a decade than any other recording artist?
Not Michael Jackson, no?
No, it's not.
Taylor Swift, maybe? I don't know.
That's not Taylor Swift. It's not Frank Sinatra. It's not even Elvis Presley.
Wow.
It's Eminem.
Yeah, I believe it. Wow.
So he's retired. So why is it that we don't even get the ultimate benefit of our own music? What is it we're lacking here? And then you get the, I'll illustrate part of the problem that gets to what you're talking about. It's just awful. These men are sitting there fascinating on dominating women when they get these half naked girls dancing up there, gyrating on stage, and they've got fantasies of masculine dominance. You've heard it. That's the thing that the feminists do, right?
Yep.
But the problem is, it's not a sexual fantasy. You know what's up on the stage? Go out back of the projects 10 years ago and you'd see it. It's 80, 90 degrees out there. That's mama, aunt, grandmama, great grandmama, their friend girls, booty shorts on, titties hanging out of their halter, trying to get laid and get another check. And that's their June cleaver, except instead of pearls, she's got on some booty shorts and she's running around with a halter on with her fat belly hung over the top of her, whatever she's got on that's too small for her. Drinking a 40 ounce, smoking a blunt maybe or something, and sitting out there hanging. So if you deal with Oedipus, you know, yeah, okay, fine, but that's not a sexual fantasy. That's just a reality. The ideation, what you doing on a typical rap thing. Man, my bitches and hoes taking care of me. I got good game, man. It's all the same. My hoes, they be laying down, you know, so I don't have to deal with the clown, you know. It's all about, and what is it that they've done to masculine images? See, human males that are adjusted, I don't care what color you are, all over the planet, have been about providing, protecting, and leading. And what we're doing is we're playing fucking male hoe, gigolo. My bitches take care of me. I got 4 ladies take care of me. Look, 2 of them got good JOBs. One get a crazy chick. One of them hoes, you know, she get AFDC. They takes care of me. What you doing, dude? Sound like you a gold digging little gigolo bitch pimp, you know. Who's your pimp? See, and it's about pimping, man. And the actual truth of the matter is until things got turned around in a penitentiary, the category of person is giving up more head and getting butt fucked more than anybody else, except for the convicted pedophiles, were the pimps.
Wow.
See, so now we ideate, oh man, it's about pimping, man. You want to be one of those fucked up folk that suck all that dick up in the penitentiary and half the time out there in the vacant apartments in the projects too.
Wow.
I used to represent a lot of pimps, hoes, and dancers. It's a sick game.
Wow.
But we have the ideation now where we've got that P Valley, Pussy Valley, and 40 years ago, I used to represent a lot of ladies that dance down there. And that thing about that freak boy that manages the club likes to suck more dick than the babes up in there, that was a reality too. So, you know, is be careful what you're looking at. You look sagged and bagged. Where the hell did that bullshit get to be a style? First time I saw that was exactly 44 years ago, almost, not exactly, it soon will be. It was July 7th, 1980. My law partner had died and I was taking over some of his cases, and I was up at the main penitentiary in Nashville. Some dude walked by, sagged, bagged, and dragged. And I'm looking at like, man, what the hell is that shit? Because all of the rest of the folk, they can't wear belts, so they have these real well-tailored jeans. You know, they fit. They looking like they're in uniform. And then I'm looking at dude with his shit hung off his ass. He said, oh, man, Lloyd Brown, like this, man, those of us up here doing life and long time, we got everything we need except some soft booties. So we making us some man pussy over there. So we make them wear it down like that, loose. And see, when the guards ain't around, we make them bend them down, pull them down, and get down. If he try to run, he fall because it goes to his ankles and he trips up his booty up in the air. See, we don't care. We take him on the cell block. We make him take his pants off. Don't let him wear no panties and that baggy shirt. That be his dress. We be fucking the hell out of him so he don't even have to feel no pain. Don't even need no KY to get it in. And see, they made him some jewelry off in metal shop, and Jamal, he rid off to his baby sis. She done sent a care package with some rouge, mascara, eyeshadow, lipstick, and some plastic nails. Yeah, we gonna girl this motherfucker out, boy. So about 1982 or 3, Crisscross came on. It got popular, and they started wearing the kind of shit like they just got out the penitentiary. And it started spreading. By the time you got to the 1990s, instead of just something for everybody to fuck, that was a sign in the joint that, you know, this dude belongs to somebody. I'd been practicing criminal law for a long time, and I knew it. And what was coming out of the penitentiaries, not everybody, but a whole bunch. You represent a guy from the time he's 15, 16, little hard-headed juvenile, and his mama's paying the fee. He gets 18, 19. Now he got 3 ladies paying it for him. He does his first time, does a year and a half, comes out 2 years. He's coming up to your office, you know. He said, well, yeah, I have your fee up here. And this time, instead of having 2 or 3 ladies, you got 2 or 3 queers coming up there paying the fee and one woman. A month later, the girl comes back. Lloyd Brown, I want my money back. Said, sorry, baby, I've signed the jacket. But it ain't right. He got them gay boys right down at the end of the hall. He be coming back here stealing my Kotex because his ass be bleeding. And, you know, like, hey, that's him. And see, to get to perpetrating about masculinity, but the whole deal is you tear it down with us, and then everybody just starts copying us, thinking, yeah, you know, hey man, you know, the black guys, man, you know, those African Americans, man, you know, they got it going on, man. You got to go like that, man. So they start copying that, and then we go to WNBA. And the thing about WNBA, and I laugh about it because I know one girl. She's pretty, beautiful, but she's got a unique distinction. She was married to an NBA player, and then she got married to a WNBA player, divorced both of them, and got big money.
Candace
I
Parker.
keep telling her, you got a book. You know, so bottom line is that she used to laugh about this. She said, well, I can't tell the difference from the rear. The boys and the girls look the same. The girls got those long knee-length shorts that makes them look like boys. They got the narrow hips. And the boys and the girls wearing the same hairstyle. You can't tell who the hell is what from the rear. And now I got another perspective. I've been taking martial arts for 58 years. And my brother was at one time listed by Black Belt magazine as probably the most dangerous human alive in North America. Look him up. His name is Clifford Stewart of Los Angeles. They listed him as bodyguard for the stars, and his clients included Muhammad Ali, including when he had Thriller in Manila, Mr. T, Wesley Snipes, Larry Flint of Hustlers magazine, the sheikh that was in charge with counterintelligence for Saudi Arabia, you name it, also a brilliant man. And I look at these guys now and I say, I can break your neck very easy. Thanks for that. The way you got your hair dealt with. That's a nice handle. Just a little this, down that twist, and you dead. Okay, this, okay, wow, man, you leave yourself wide open. See, this is a nice little, you know, when you do judo and jujitsu, you have the gis on so you can practice the throws with alacrity and nothing will tear. Say, man, the way you dressed, you make it real easy to put you down, break some ribs here. Your legs gone, you're dead in 15, 20 seconds, or it might take you 30 seconds, 30 minutes to figure it out and go ahead and croak because you already been done. Didn't even know it. So we used to deal with, if you're going to be this, that, and the other, you got to be, what is it, back in the 60s, are you ready for the revolution? And nowadays, I'm looking at folk that have the shoes, the wrong kind of shoes, they can't run in them, the pants about to fall off their ass. They look like they want to drop them, bend over, and do the 6B routine, which is unbelt, drop breeches, drop boxes, bend over, spread butt cheeks, get boy banged. And, you know, that seems to be the way of doing things these days. I don't know what happened to manhood. And then the ideation. I've never heard what I hear now. I mean, I'm 77 years old this year. All right. So my father was born in 1910. My maternal grandfather was born in 1850. He lived to be in his hundreds. I had another grandfather on the father's side who was a preacher. He made it over 100. He was born back in the 19th century. All my uncles, and I had a bunch of them, they all prided themselves as black men on being able to take care of their families and their women and being in charge. They understood there was a thing called racism, adversity, but they learned to kick ass. Hell, I had a grandfather, my maternal grandfather, he and another uncle murdered 2 deputies because the deputies they thought were participating in a lynching of another brother. So they worked around that shit. You didn't hear them talking about, oh man, they holding me down, man, white supremacy. Fuck that shit. It's like, it's adversity, man. If we supposed to be killing Simba with a wooden spear, no iron head before we get out of 13, and nobody there with us to take on this 450-pound predator, what the hell is wrong with us when we can't even deal with some acid that isn't anywhere near as bad now as it used to be? So it's like I'm doing a thing on X Space in a while. It's called WS and BS. Is it white supremacy, WS, or is it black stupidity, BS, that holds us down? See, and by the way, I do this thing with Dana Cumberland, the real Dana. We do it on Monday and Thursday, and this other thing on Tuesday, the Twitter space. The idea is to provoke. She's kind of my stepdaughter, so to speak. So we play this game back and forth, but the whole point is to get people to think, and also to show that you don't have to get all weirded out because a woman is not agreeing with you. You work around it, and that's part of the demonstration. But it is this thing we have got to do. So you look at the WNBA, and my question is, so what? Now, I hate to down the ladies, but the ladies are doing a piss poor job about being mothers these days. I'm getting on a cousin of mine for raising another cousin of mine, and what she's attempting to do is she went to Hawaii and she got into hula. So she's teaching grandson hula. Now, if you see the Hawaiians do it, they don't sway hips when they're guys. The hula that the guys do is ferocious. They make all of these snarling faces and they flex and they do war moves. And what the deal is it comes from a time when they pulled up on the beach in their war canoes and they faced off against the people that lived at that part of the island. And the people on the island was, do you want to fight? And they're going, do we want to fight? And then the people on the island say, do we kill you? And then they do this, you know, and they go through their moves and stuff, and their katas and so forth. And they say, you look like you can kick some ass. We don't mind you coming in the family. Come on. We'll have a good time. You can fuck all the babes you want because we want genetic diversity. So we'll visit your island. You know, we get some side nookie too. Come on, dudes. Let's have a good time. Now they want to get the boys up there swaying like they're girls. And if you go to Hawaii, you know, all of these hula demonstrations, girls look great, but you never see the guys doing that. But American women go over there and take their sons and they want to teach them hula because it looks so cute. One of my nieces, she's 60 years old. She said, don't you dare do that. Don't do it. I said, ma'am, excuse me. She says, excuse me, ma'am, your child is so cute. And the woman said, thank you. And then I had to say, let me ask you something. Is that a boy or a girl? Don't you think he's cute? I said, it's a boy. Yeah, but he's so cute. And I said, I knew it. Like, why in the hell are you worried about getting a boy pretty and you got a bun on his head and some stud earrings and you got him dressed up in pink? What the hell is the matter with you? It's hard enough being a man if you really focus on it. You can't afford to distract a boy child with frivolity and expect him to grow up to be a man. And I always get on these folks. I say, look, let me ask you something. What good's a man for? I don't know. Man ain't good for shit, honey. I hear you. I said, well, then that's the problem. How you going to raise your boy to be a man? I know what I want. He going to be a man. How you going to raise him to be a man if you don't know what the hell a man is good for?
Ooh.
You see, so it's this ideation we have. We think like we are gold digging women. Who's going to take care of us? Not who do we take care of. See, a man is judged by his power. Power is reflected by how much business you can take care of. And it ain't about just fucking and having a bunch of outside babies. 30 years ago, I started getting folk I was sentenced and checked out. And the guys that had all these outside babies, guess what the shrinks would come back with? Say, dude is not confident in his masculinity. So he's trying to prove by the number of babies he has that he's a man because he doesn't feel confident in doing those things that men do.
Wow.
I said, yeah, that's interesting. So deep down inside, you say a lot about yourself when you do it. That N word too. Yeah, man, you won't be a real nigga. You got to be a nigga, man. You know, like, why you say that about yourself? Man, it's friendly. No, it's not. Shrink will tell you. You know what it means. Your subconscious knows what it means. And when you use that word to talk about yourself and your friends, you're really telling yourself, you ain't shit, man. You know you ain't shit. You ain't done a goddamn thing. You messed up, wasted your time in high school. You ain't got no job, man. You don't want to work. You don't know what the hell your ass is going to do or what it's about. You don't think shit of yourself. That's why you're calling yourself the N-word. We can have all the rationalizations we want, but our subconsciouses know what the word means. And when you use it and you start trying to fool yourself by saying it's friendly, it's not. You're talking about yourself. You're looking in the mirror saying, man, you ain't shit, man. Why don't you do better?
Wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like knowledge is a pitch, man. But I'm looking at women's basketball. So what? When are you going to start being good mamas and focus on that and motherhood and bestowing peace in the community instead of going around acting like girl gorillas, trashing the place rather worse than your sons are?
Right.
See, if I want to see a goddamn girl gorilla, I'll see a gorilla and go to the goddamn zoo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it used to be in my day, man. Hey, man, watch out, man. A woman walked in, man. Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't see you. Or, hey, man, dude's mama just came in. Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. We didn't mean to use that language. Now, heifer walks off in there and she's more vulgar than anybody else, talking about how much ass she can kick instead of trying to bring peace. So that's not the thing. It's like if you're going to be a man, you can be all the athletes you want. You can rationalize it by saying that once was a preparation for hunting and for war. But you still are supposed to be about the business of taking care of where you live, your neighborhood, making it a better, safer, more secure place filled with economic prosperity, sense of purpose, morality, ethics, dealing with public peace, dignity, and order, and being brave and courageous about things. Then you, if you got spare time, do the rest of it. So if the ladies want to start prepping to be mamas and dealing with the other side of the human race, you know, that yin yang thing, the circle with the black teardrop on one side and the white on the other, where it's thin against the thick, meaning the women can do a little of this, guys can do a lot, and vice versa over there. And then there's some things where neither can do. That's reality. That's called yin yang or yin yang, the balance. And when it gets out of balance, it's all messed up. It doesn't work. And nobody's peaceful. See, you walk down the street, man, and my father, my uncles, my grandparents, my great uncles, everybody I knew, man, if you were a dude, you were into girl watching.
That's right.
All the ladies, they were into boy watching. And I used to have well, she's dead now, first ex-mother-in-law. She had a beauty salon. And I used to have to go over there and help out, man. I'd get up in there and the ladies in them bags, girl, you see his package? Woo, girl, want me some of that? Wait, time out. Let me leave, ladies. I'm out of here. You know, and they watch the guys too. And we say, hey, man, check that out, man. Woo, shit, look at that. Now, it's like a friend of mine was telling me, hey, Joe, man, I was in you know, VIP lounge, Delta, you know, Sky Lounge, you know, red carpet, whatever the hell they call it. I was in Atlanta airport, man. I saw the fattest looking woman I'd ever laid eyes on. I got enough of nerve to go over and say something. Turned out to be a goddamn boy, man. Shit.
Damn. No way.
See, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, we've got these courtship rituals. Birds have them, you know, lions have them, tigers have them, elephants have them,
Yep.
Whales have them, alligators and shit got them, you know, wolves have them,
Yeah.
and humans have them, and now they messed that up, so they screwed it up. It's like they don't have a stake in tomorrow because somehow or another they got fucked up in their heads. And you know, I'm looking at it as used to be when I was younger. I'm a man, damn, let me not embarrass myself. Shit. You know, and these dudes likely to get a hard on looking at you instead of at the women.
Yeah.
And you know, it's crazy. I know one guy got in trouble. He was up in and by the way, it's illegal now. That so-called Emmett Till anti-lynch bill doesn't even require anybody to die. It doesn't require a mob. It can be one person and a one blow. And what's going on is what happens a lot around here. This poor guy broke up with his old lady. He was in a bar and he was drinking or a club. And that was what he thought was a PYT. She looked trim, had all the curves and swerves, a little on the slender side, nice. And, you know, hair done up and all the makeup. And they got the dancing and exchanging spit over in the shadows. And then the damn thing got a hard on. See, man, what the
Oh,
shit.
No.
Busted it right in the jaw. I mean, he couldn't help himself. But now that's called lynching under the federal anti-lynch bill called the Emmett Till anti-lynch bill. That's now called lynching.
Wow.
So the FBI would come in on it. So it's crazy what's been done. They even have a new move afoot on the East Coast to make it a felony rape by seduction. What the hell does that mean? It means you go out, you and your lady friend have a nice time, wine, candlelight, dinner, springtime, walk in the park, holding hands, your place or mine. You go over there, things led to things, clothes come off, and everybody has a good time. These stupid idiots call that rape by seduction because the woman was seduced and her will to resist got taken away. Like, what the hell? Where have you been in life? That's how this shit works.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
Damn.
what is your problem? Now, you're supposed to, I guess, the way they do it, hey, baby, you look very good. I'd like to have sex with you, but I'll take you to dinner if you want before we have sex, and we can go do the candlelight and walk in the park, your place or mine, but we are going to have sex. Is that okay? Hell, your ass ain't going to get in the goddamn nookie that way. What the hell is the matter with folks? It doesn't work.
Right.
So they want to upset human nature. And then they're trying to make that the reality. So I'm looking at Griner. What's the tall babe that played basketball over in Russia and got busted for carrying what in America would be a felony amount of cannabis oil? By the way, when it's refined, it ain't quite the same as leaf marijuana, which is still against federal law, even though it may be okay with state law. So this chick goes through an international airport. She's been there a whole bunch of times because she gets paid more by the Russians to play b-ball than she did over here. And she gets busted for felony possession of not cannabis oil. They call it, guess what? Hash oil. Wow. And hash is a hell of a lot more important than just weed, you know, so she gets busted. So what do? We trade the merchant of death for a hack basketball player who got caught taking some hash oil through an international security checkpoint like a damn fool.
Yeah.
All right. So what is this? We have American spies and operators over there been up in jail for years that we could have traded for this guy. Do we
Right.
do it? No, we get it for some. Who cares? You know,
Right.
WNBA wouldn't operate if it wasn't for the subsidy that the NBA pays them.
Facts.
So what are we doing? And then let's talk basketball. I'm friends with Magic Johnson, known his family for a long 35 years. His mother and I talk. Father died this year. One of her best girlfriends is the sister of a good friend of mine. Magic has always been about business. He would play basketball to get a financial stake to launch business. All right. He introduced me to Michael Jordan one time. Same thing. It's about business. I know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the GOAT for the NBA. He and I were classmates at UCLA. He's a scholar. He had a B+ average in engineering, and every time you saw him, he always had a long slide rule clipped to his belt. That was before they came up with small calculators and let alone cell phones. That was like some magic out of Star Trek. But they were about taking care of business. I remember one thing, I was at UCLA, and UCLA, get this, in NCAA play was undefeated for 7 straight years. And they had the coach out there.
Woody something?
Wooten. I
Yeah.
did a documentary for about him one time for, I forgot what the network was. And I played football, and we'd come in after football practice and watch them play basketball. And Wooten said, "You're here as students first, basketball players second. I expect everybody on my team to maintain a B average or you don't play, because I don't want stupid basketball players. I want students who are good students who happen to be able to play basketball." And I mean, to this day, I get bored with most basketball games. I remember one game I was at, it was 152 to 79 UCLA. We would walk out if it wasn't, 75, 80 points at halftime. We expected the game to be 110, 120. They played like they practiced, charge up and down the court full speed. What they play now, we used to call prevent defense and stall offense. So I'm looking at this thing. My old man took me to see the first Laker game in LA season game. And Elgin Baylor and all that bunch were playing, and they charged up and down the field. I saw Kareem, my classmate, play, and he did what he did all through his basketball career, skyhook and everything. And now I look at the players, they get paid a lot more money, and they lope down the field like they're tired and they're bored and everything else. And, you get a playoff and nobody breaks 90 points. We would have walked out on that. I saw Will Chamberlain play, and Will Chamberlain all by himself on 2 occasions scored more than 100 points in a game.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at what you have now. Yeah, really? Okay. And by the way, they didn't have 3-point plays then. They were all 2 points. So just think of somebody scoring, and I think he scored 109 and 111 points. Under 2 games, he got more than 100 all by himself. So, yeah. what are we doing here? And then we distract this. We got to go watch the ladies because they want to be watched. And nobody's promoting them to be good mothers, just like nobody's promoting the boys to be men and take care of their business like they used to. Like Coach Wooten would say, your job is to be a student because you are preparing for the rest of your life, even if you play pro basketball, like so many of my former players do. There's more to life after basketball. So what are you preparing yourself to do? I want men.
Yes, sir.
And interestingly enough, the dean of students at the UCLA Law School was Fred Slaughter. Fred Slaughter had been the center for UCLA on one of his undefeated basketball teams. Fred was 6'9", going on 10. And by the time he was dean, he was like 380 pounds. I remember some clown was acting a fool up in a meeting. We had student faculty. Fred grabbed this dude by one hand, yanked him up from across the table, and was holding him up like that. And his feet were about this high off the table. Said, I ought to break your damn jaw. Dean, don't do it. Don't do it. It ain't worth it, you know. So there were episodes and outlooks. And one thing that was happening in the 60s was the nom. You did not want a 1A classification.
Really?
You wanted 2A.
Okay.
So we didn't have tuition at state-run schools then, colleges and universities. So it didn't cost you anything. So everybody stayed in school. So you got all of the radicalism.
Yeah.
You got all the badasses. They were in school. They wanted that 2A. So everybody was getting an education and kind of got upwardly mobile. Nowadays, nobody wants to go to school. And the people that do get in the back door, and they tend to be little boule bitches that don't know what the hell masculinity is about either, because they're running around trying to be too damn soft. And we got a whole lot of folk that I just wanted to vomit every time I saw them over the years. They were holding themselves out as black leaders. And when the time to do that was around, brother, we got to go, man. Brothers, excuse me. It's not that I don't appreciate all of the sacrifices that you've made for me and the times all of you have gone to jail, but I can't afford to jeopardize my career. You'll have to go on without me, but I'll be there with you in spirit. Crab that fool. And I remember one guy that used to be an advisor to several presidents on black men in militancy. He had to be drugged to the location. He had on some gray slacks and some tan shoes. And he got so scared, he pissed all over himself. You could see the stain going down his left pant leg and a big puddle of piss around his left foot and stained his tan shoes. And the brothers holding him said, God damn, man, dropped him and he fell down in his own piss. He was too scared to get up for 3 or 4 minutes. So he got piss all over his hands in front of his shirt and he got up and sprinted away.